It's where you go to bike, hike, and stroll miles of pathways over more than 7,000 acres of parkland. A place to go explore rivers and fish their bountiful waters. Natural places to go marvel at magnificent wildlife while you play outdoors and go wander charming communities. Find all this and more at Destination Downriver. Give it a go.
Today's podcast is presented by MarketInsights.us, with the podcast on YouTube produced by the City of Taylor's Media Center.
Thank you to our team sponsor, Allegra, Marketing, Print, and Design. Let Allegra assist you with your print, mail, design, and signs. Located in Wyandotte, Michigan, or call 734-284-5330.
Hi, I'm Carl Zymak, and this is Destination Downriver. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is planned to open in late July after various delays. The bridge represents a transportation and logistics milestone. It's a business enabler reinforcing the Downriver region's role in North American trade. What we'd like to focus on today is how the Gordie Howe International Bridge will be a catalyst for tourism on both sides of the river. The new bridge offers both pedestrian and bicycle walkways, a feature that the Ambassador Bridge, Detroit-Windsor Tunnel, and the Blue Water Bridge notably lack. This carries massive implications for growth in regional tourism. We interviewed Dr. John Hartig recently while we were still waiting on the announcement about when the bridge would open. Dr. Hartig is an accomplished Great Lakes scientist and nonfiction author who has written 8 books and writes a monthly column called Great Lakes Moment for Detroit Public Television's Great Lakes Now. He has also authored or co-authored more than 150 publications on the environment. John serves as a visiting scholar at the University of Windsor's Great Lakes Institute for Environmental Research and on the board of directors of the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. We'll be right back with John Hartig in one moment. We're back with Dr. John Hartig. John, how are you today?
I am doing great. How are you?
We haven't had you back here in a while. What were we talking about the last time you were here?
I can't remember.
Was it walkways and walking downriver? And I think we alluded to the Gordie Howe Bridge and how it would expand everything that's going on. What have you been doing lately before we get into this?
A lot has changed. So I'm still working on cleanup of rivers like Detroit River and Rouge River in the Great Lakes. I'm still serving on the board of directors of the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. I chair a committee for the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan called the Great Lakes Way Advisory Committee, an interconnected set of greenways and water trails from Port Huron to Toledo.
Oh my, that sounds like a challenge.
Cross over the Gordie Howe International Bridge. And then I'm also working with the Council of State Governments and the 8 Great Lakes states on a Great Lakes waterfront trail that will be a sister trail of Ontario's Great Lakes waterfront trail.
Oh my.
And it will be about 6,000 miles.
The older you get,
trails.
The busier you get.
It's busy.
My
it's
goodness.
Been fun.
And what is your wife doing these days?
She's chasing grandkids and doing a little immigration law.
Oh, okay. All righty. Well, that's a challenging area in and of itself. Doing any writing?
Yes.
What's next? Can you tell us?
What's next? Well, I've written a column for Detroit Public Television's Great Lakes Now called The Great Lakes Moment. And Michigan State University Press came to me and said, we really like these things. How would you like to pick out your 40 to 50 favorite ones? And we will do a book on Great Lakes, Great Moments.
Wow. Well, you've just come up with another another episode of Destination Downriver.
Well, yeah, that'd be great.
When do you anticipate that that's going to come out or be put together?
Early first quarter, maybe second quarter of 27.
Okay, all right, well, very good. Well, okay, so the Gordie Howe International Bridge, all right, is poised to change so many things about Downriver and throughout southeast Michigan. But we've not heard much about how this new infrastructure landmark will act as a catalyst when it comes to tourism. Okay, I understand that the Waterfront Regeneration Trust Corporation and the Trans-Canada Trail organizations, naturally both of Canada, have partnered with Community Foundation of Southeastern Michigan and the Michigan Department of Natural Resources to develop the Gordie Howe International Bridge as a binational tourism destination. That's a long sentence there. What can you tell us about that effort?
Yeah, so think about it. I was driving here today, I was reflecting on the history of this. And so 10 years ago, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority said, hey, we're going to build a new bridge, but we want to see how we can make it green. We want to see if we can help make more benefits to both sides of the border. And we would like to have a focus group in Windsor and one in Detroit metropolitan area. And would you serve on it? I said, of course I'll serve on it. I'll be happy to. But we really think alike, outdoor recreation, tourism, conservation on both sides. Why don't you make it one committee instead of two separate ones, one in Canada and one in the United States? They said, no, they have to be separate.
Really?
So we said, okay, we'll do that. But then in parallel, we formed our own group. We took the same people and met concurrently with them, and we created a Canada-U.S. vision map for Greenways. Okay, so we said, in this new Gordie Howe International Bridge, we would like a dedicated bicycle and pedestrian lane. And we've got it.
Right.
And we also said, there's a tunnel bus that goes under the river, every day. And we would like bike racks on the front of it to put your bike on that and go across and then have an adventure on either side of the border. We've got that. And then we said a ferry system. We would like a ferry, like before there was a tunnel, before there were bridges. The only way you could cross the river was by ferry boat.
Right.
And so why can't we have one of those again, and you could put your bike on the ferry, cross over, and do that. So we have two of the three.
Okay.
And the big thing is the dedicated bicycle and pedestrian lane will be toll-free. If you drive your car across, or your truck, of course, you're going to pay a toll, but for cyclists and pedestrians, it will be free.
Oh my goodness, that sounds absolutely. Have you gone across the bridge so far?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I've been up to the foot of it, but I have not crossed it. I was going to be. They were going to have a grand opening, a big fancy thing in Windsor, and I was invited to it. And then the day before, I got that thin email that says it's not going to happen.
The first email was really big, and the second email was really thin. Yeah, I hear you. That's the way it usually goes. Downriver, Detroit, and Windsor have all invested in developing a very robust network of pedestrian and biking trailways. We mentioned the opportunity with the bridge and everything like that. When you're talking about reaching out to both on the Canadian side and on the American side, have you reached out further into communities that keep reaching out to make this even bigger than?
Yes.
You know where I'm going?
Oh, yes, I know where you're going with this. Think about it. I mentioned that I chair this Great Lakes Way Advisory Committee for the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan, and we have all the communities from Downriver. We have Monroe and Luna Pier and Trenton and Downriver Link Greenways and everything. And so we're working with them on creating this interconnected set of greenways and water trails. And then also we have this MOU with Canada, the Canadian partners. You mentioned the Trans-Canada Trail and the Waterfront Regeneration Trust. And on our side, we've got the Iron Bell Trail, which is managed by the Michigan DNR, and then the Great Lakes Way. We are strategically working with communities and others to plan for and get ready for the opening of the bridge. We have so many opportunities, as you know, downriver. Think of maritime history, shipbuilding history, River Rouge, Wyandotte, Trenton. Think of Native American history. Think of the Underground Railroad. Think of, Prohibition, and think of conservation. Think of the things that you could do binationally in an afternoon or a day that you couldn't do elsewhere.
Do you see a lot of these communities? I mean, if we're looking out, say we're looking out 20 years from now, okay, the bridge is open, it's been open for 20 years. What do you see on the local, on like the hyper-local level, okay? Does this mean that there's going to be 5 more coffee shops in Wyandotte, and there's going to be this type of museum built here because this used to, this community used to be involved in something? You know what?
Yeah, sure. I would think, certain museums like the River Rouge Historical Museum is only open 1 day a week, right? I mean, it's a showcase of shipbuilding history, and yet
it's only open once a week.
And so I would say things like that will open more. There will be some more coffee shops and restaurants. B&Bs and Airbnbs will get a little more attention. People staying overnight by bicycle. I think when we develop itineraries, like what are those overnight trips that you could do? And so they would plan, you'd have different communities working together with tourism people and say, okay, we're going to start in Windsor. We're going to stage at Ojibwe National Urban Park. Get on our bikes, come across the river, go downriver, have lunch in Wyandotte, go down to the refuge, go through Lake Erie Metro Park, stay in some Airbnbs or B&Bs or something like that, turn around the next day and come back. So that's going to be important. And I think we are just scratching the surface of that thinking. But we have these really cool experiences to offer, this unbelievable history to offer, and culture, and lots of great places to eat and drink and have fun, And so I see this just exploding in the future. Just think of people in Detroit that want to come downriver, I just saw the new professional hockey team to be at Yak Arena, and people would love to go there and experience things like that. Go to the theater at DIPAC in Trenton. So there's a lot that can happen, and
John, can you think of another place along the U.S.-Canadian border, or for that matter, the U.S. any other border, okay, maybe Mexican border, where we're looking, we can see the Gordie Howe Bridge and what it may do here, and it's already happening somewhere else, or it may happen somewhere else, or something like that. Is there any comparison like that?
Not for cross-border trail tourism, because we first had 9/11, right? And 9/11 shut things down. And for downriver, it was cultural to go to Amherstburg and Duffy's Tavern and do all that kind of stuff. That all went away, And although they are opening it up a little bit now for boat traffic, and then of course, so we have discouraged this, but now we have this opportunity to encourage it.
Correct.
And to plan it, and to create these itineraries for people, and to make it fun, and give these memories to families and people who want them on both sides of the border.
Right, exactly, and certainly to the benefit of everybody. How when you're looking at how they've designed these bike lanes, or lane, is it one lane or is it multiple lanes, or
it's going to be
how it's designed? How does it?
It's going to have two lanes crossing the bridge. One, heading across to Ontario, and one coming the other day. But it's going to be one geographic area separated by a barrier to vehicular traffic for safety. All right. So it's really well thought out. And all the Greenway trails, are aspiring to be off-road. Right.
Gotcha. Right.
But like Downriver Link Greenways is working starting this summer on Biddle and Jefferson Avenue to have a dedicated lane there, to go. So, so it's going to be a work in progress. But the Great Lakes Way is about 167 miles of greenways from Port Huron to Toledo. It's about 65% usable.
Really?
Right now.
Wow.
And so that is good news. And then as we get more experiences, more tourism, that only makes the case for filling the gaps and everything else. And so, and Toledo would love to be connected to Downriver and Detroit, right? And Windsor wants to be connected to us because they see the benefits as well.
Right, exactly. When it comes to biking, is that something that are you an avid biker?
I do bicycle. I do bicycle a little slower than I used to before, but I do bicycle regularly, and I've done it my whole life, and I do it with grandkids now, which is a little slower too, but it's fun, and I benefit from the trail systems downriver.
What's the when it comes to yourself? Is there a trail route that you take on a regular basis? Is there one that you really enjoy more than others?
Right now I spent 30 years, as living in Trenton.
Right.
And I used to ride a lot in Trenton and sometimes to Riverview and Wyandotte. But now I live on Grosse Ile, and I have a favorite ride that goes to the Gibraltar Bay unit of the Detroit River International Wildlife Refuge. 65 acres of coastal wetlands at the sort of the downstream end of the Naval Air Station, Grosse Ile Airport there, It's open from dawn to dusk. Every day of the year you can go and see prairie habitat, coastal wetlands. You can see the evidence of the beavers. I go there regularly by bicycle and then walk trails and then go back.
Oh my goodness, that sounds like a good day.
It is a good day.
Without a doubt. When we're talking about whether the cities are on the Canadian side or on the American side, are there any special associations or groups that are actively collaborating right now with the intent that, hey, when the bridge opens, we're going to see this, and kind of like visioning type groups?
Yeah. So on the Canadian side, they have something called TUEPI, an acronym, Tourism Windsor Essex Pelee Island. So they think totally tourism. They are all over this.
Really?
And how to plan itineraries. How to make sure businesses are bicycle friendly. How do we become market ready for what is coming? So they're doing that. Visit Detroit, destination downriver. We need to have that. Think of bringing them together to create a synergy amongst those organizations to help communities and businesses get ready and benefit from what's possible.
Wow, that sounds interesting. And it really all comes from a spark. There has to be a spark somewhere along the way, and quite frankly, this bridge probably serves as the key spark.
It is a spark, because how many people have an international crossing like we have with a dedicated bicycle and pedestrian lane on it. And at the foot on the Canadian side is going to be a national urban park.
Right.
And then in close proximity, we're going to have Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Centennial Park and the Detroit River International Wildlife Refuge and Elizabeth Park. And we have, if you could put those together in experiences and create memories for families, that's going to be pretty special.
When people are going to be crossing the bridge in this fashion, okay, likely on bicycle and or walking, how does that go? Is it any different when you're leaving? Well, you'd only be entering, right? You only get checked out when you're entering.
Once. You have to pay no toll. So, but you have to go through. You still have to have a passport, right?
Correct. Okay.
And so you have to go through Customs and Border Protection, you know, and check you in. The other thing to think about is if you look at a distance from downriver at the bridge and you look how the bridge comes up, and you think about that slope, a seasoned cyclist will have no trouble doing that.
Right.
But maybe the average cyclist might want to take an e-bike because of that slope going over.
And they're not going to have any problems with e-bikes?
Right now, they're planning for e-bikes. They are on board with that. Yes.
All right.
And so yeah, and I think of bicycle liveries, you know, that could open up as a result of this. You know, a couple of bicycle liveries opened up on the Detroit River Walk because of what they wanted to do. You could see one being along Downriver linked Greenways downriver.
You see a heavy leaning toward a return to healthy living because of this type of activity. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't bother to get the stuff out anymore. It's
a huge benefit, you know, to promote healthy living, a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
And you know, during so there's lots of good studies that shows the benefits of cycling and getting out and enjoying nature. The thing that we learned during COVID is that when you are in nature, you learn to relax. And that was one of the few places we could go in COVID because we weren't around other people. And how special was that? And so there's a whole movement to reconnect people with nature, starting with the medical community, starting with hospitals. And now in Ontario, a doctor can write a prescription for you and me to go spend 6 hours a week in nature to learn how to relax and to walk and reap the health benefits of nature.
That's kind of amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
You know, you touched on COVID, and that was one of the things that came out of COVID that was, to me, such a uniquely popular thing. Even in the dead of winter in Michigan, you know, it's 10 degrees and there's a 15-mile-an-hour wind. And you learn to reappreciate nature. And it was a pleasurable experience. Now, it seemed like before COVID, there was, you know, it was, no, I don't want to go outside, I don't want to do this stuff, it's a Michigan winter, there's too much snow, there's too cold, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, it changed. And you
people
could really
are rediscovering what we have downriver. We have 23 islands in the Detroit River. We have an international wildlife refuge, 3 important bird areas. We have Point Mouillet. We have Lake Erie Metro Park and the Marshlands Museum. There are so many things that are truly unique about downriver and that have been rediscovered, and yet we haven't seen all the benefits yet because we want to get more people to be aware of it and connected to it as part of their lifestyle.
Right, exactly. Now you've been planning an international bike ride, over the new bridge. what were you planning?
Yeah,
Enlighten us about what's going on so that we'll.
So the Waterfront Regeneration Trust manages the Great Lakes Waterfront Trail in Canada. It's 2,250 miles long. Every year they do something called the Great Waterfront Trail Adventure. They call it short-term, short language, a long-haul bicycle tour.
Okay.
So they go 4 days and 3 nights. So they plan an itinerary, and this year it's going to be in southwest Ontario, right across from Downriver. So they're going to go to Amherstburg and Fort Malden, and they're going to go to Sandwich Town and see the Underground Railroad things, and you go to Point Pelee and everything else. But on August 11th, they will cross the Gordie Howe International Bridge by bicycle, go through customs, and then we were going to spend 8 hours with them going through Detroit. You know, it's going to hop on the Joe Louis Greenway, go by Central Train Station, maybe have a cup of coffee there, you know what I mean? Go down the Southwest Greenway and over to Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Centennial Park. Go up the Detroit Riverwalk to the DeQuinder Cut. Head inland, have lunch in Eastern Market, the largest open air market in the United States. Then get on your bike and head up towards Belle Isle. Go around a new trail, 6 miles long, on Belle Isle, around Belle Isle with a couple of stops. We will have at strategic locations an ambassador and a storyteller to welcome them, welcome Canadian cyclists to the United States, tell some stories, get on their bike and keep going. They'll spend 8 hours with us. And we hope then, after that we want this to be successful and well received by all the Canadian cyclists. But then we want to reciprocate and plan something from Downriver or Detroit to cross the bridge, go to Ojibwe National Urban Park and have a reception there from our good neighbors in Canada, walk the trails over there, turn around, come back. So we, you know, it'll kind of feed off itself, you know. We can do this.
Right.
What are the other things that are possible that would be of interest to cyclists and families and stuff?
So and it's amazing once you get something like that started, all of a sudden 5 other things spring to mind.
Exactly.
And then 10 other things, and then 20 other things.
We haven't even thought of,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. You know, it's always that way.
Yeah.
That's
so
stunning.
The bridge will open eventually.
Right.
It is a $5 billion bridge. Initial payment for that came from the government of Canada.
Right.
You know, they ceded the money to the project, and then they get the tolls until that money gets paid back. And once it gets paid back, they split the revenue of the tolls for crossing the bridge between the United States and Canada. And we have been told to keep planning and to plan for August 11th and then be thinking about what follows that.
That sounds fantastic. You know, in that same agreement where Canada footed the money, there was also an agreement with labor to kind of split the labor between Canadians and Americans, and also the materials and everything. It kind of was a split down the middle partnership between the state of Michigan and the Canadian government. Yeah. So it all balanced out in the long run.
Yeah, and they also had a pot of money dedicated, you know, community benefits. So they did in Sandwich Town, which is right across the Downriver, and connected to the bridge. They built a dedicated bicycle lane through Sandwich Town, and they gave some money to the Underground Railroad. They gave some money to build a viewing platform at a park overlooking the Gordie Howe International Bridge. They've done a number of things to make sure these local communities are aware of the bridge and will see the benefits of that as well.
As we move forward here, when the bridge opens and so many of these activities start rolling out, is there going to be a central point where people can go to find out about if they want to get involved? Okay, if they're watching or listening to us today, and they say, hey, that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
And is there a central point, or is it just going to be dependent on news organizations making people aware?
Yeah, we're going to have an. Right now, they're Detroit Greenways Coalition,
Okay.
an NGO, and Bike Windsor Essex came together and got some money from the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority to do maps of when you come off the bridge. Do I turn left? Do I turn right? Do I go straight? Where do I go? And so that is now available on several websites.
Okay.
There is an interactive map for this, hosted through the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments for this. The Visit Detroit and Tourism Windsor, Essex, Pelee Island will have portions of their website to make it easy. Like, what do you need to cross the bridge?
Okay.
What should I expect?
Right.
What happens if there's bad weather? Some of those kinds of things as well. And of course, it's a work in progress. It'll get better as we go forward. But there is lots of interest in this, and I think we're really excited to showcase this August 11th trip into Detroit. And can you see one coming to Downriver then?
Oh my goodness!
And we would host them,
Yes.
where do you have lunch?
Oh yeah.
Where's the
bingo.
coffee shop? Where do I get my ice cream?
Right.
We would, and what are the stories that we want to tell downriver along the way? And who's the best person to tell that story?
Oh my!
That'd be so fun, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would be. It would be a labor of love, I would think. It would be fantastic. That's really neat. Have we missed anything? Can you think of anything that we missed that we want to?
No, just that we are all part of something bigger, right? And so Downriver Linked Greenways is part of the Great Lakes Way, that is part of the U.S. Great Lakes Waterfront Trail. About 3,700, 3,800 miles long. That's going to be connected to Canada, and 2,250 miles, so 6,000 miles devoted to outdoor recreation and healthful living, conservation, just economic development, trail tourism, ecotourism, cultural tourism. So it's really exciting to see what's coming, and we just have to open our minds to think big for it.
It's kind of amazing, have you been watching the World Cup much?
Yes. Oh.
So have I, and if it's one thing that that event tells you, and it literally slaps you across the face with it, is that look at the fun that we can have when we all come together.
Exactly.
And this bridge can bring us together, and we can have just as much fun. It might not be soccer, but it'll be something else. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, once they get it open. There's no doubt. I
think it is too. It's going to be just something where there are going to be so many different economy first, right? There's economic benefits. You can get goods faster to Toronto going on that bridge, but there are going to be so many other benefits, and it's up to us to make sure that happens.
I hear you. Well, thank you for coming on today, John.
Thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you. The Gordie Howe Bridge will become an access point to more than 7,000 miles of Michigan and Ontario greenways. Plus, the bridge's new southern Wayne County location opens up numerous new businesses, real estate, and tourism opportunities throughout the Downriver area. In fact, investment in the bridge and surrounding infrastructure is already influencing private sector behavior throughout our region. The Gordie Howe Bridge represents a landmark reason why Downriver is poised for a new era of regional transformation. Thanks to John Hartig for being our guest today. A tip of the hat to Joe Camilleri behind the controls, to Rich Williams and Katie Curry for their help in preparing the show. So, until the next time, this is Carl Zymak signing off on another Destination Downriver.
Thank you to our team sponsor, Allegra, Marketing, Print, and Design.
With a special thanks to our production partners here at the new Taylor Media Center. Thanks for listening and watching. Please visit our website, destinationdownriver.com, or our Facebook page, and be sure to join us for next month's podcast.